Hello and welcome to Thursday on Crypt. Oh my God, we're in stablecoin week, and man, it just lined up perfectly because we got a major announcement today. Let's hop right in. So, Stripe, one of the largest merchant connectors for payments in the world. It is an integral piece of tech for any online shopping experience, any in-purchase point of sales. It has Klarna included, so you can actually do buy now, pay later, and they are simply connected to millions of merchants. The setup is already there. The endpoint rails, the thing I always talk about, the final step, the little tap to pay, that is in place via Stripe. Well, they announced today Tempo blockchain, the blockchain designed for payments. And of course, we have this very cool website here. Now, if you connect without a crypto wallet, it does show itself as all gray. The second I logged in, it recognized my Phantom wallet. So it actually kicked over to a design color, and you get some fun features to play around with it. Maybe this magenta is a little aggressive and hard to see, so let me actually toggle, but kind of fun. Like, why commit to one brand when you can let people see it however they want? Now, let me come up here and just quickly find something a little more straightforward for the eyes, but cool, all fun. Now, naturally, you can zoom in here on the blockchain itself and the transaction hashes, as well as twist and turn it. So you got a fun interactive website, but we're not here to talk about web design. So let me just close this for a moment and let's get into it. This is incubated by Stripe and Paradigm. What's really cool about this partnership is that Paradigm is one of the most effective venture capital firms in the cryptocurrency space. That means that not only are they early investors in major things, like they did Bitcoin very early on, but they actually contribute a lot of product back to the Ethereum world, things that they want to see. In fact, one of their top researchers, Sam Sun, is actually the head of the independent criminal response unit that is called SEAL. And you can reach out if you have a major exploit or something terrible happens to one of your blockchain products, and they will actually come in and help you figure out how to unfuck that situation. So Paradigm is a really powerful partner here, and this is led now by Paradigm's managing partner, Matt Huang, is stepping in as the CEO of Tempo. So you're getting just this wealth of experience coming from the Stripe half and the Paradigm half. I mean, this is a merger of epic proportions. And just as I covered Plasma in the past coming from Tether, we're seeing why create a new blockchain? Well, stablecoins enable instant, borderless, programmable transactions, but current infrastructure and design, it's the same story we hear all the time, but they're pieces. Man, are they powerful. And here's the thing, transform how your money moves. We have it broken down with great clarity here on the webpage. Purpose-built payment capabilities, optimize your financial flows, obviously. Speed and reliability, over 100,000 transactions per second, sure. Predictable low fees. Now, this is probably one of the greatest elements that a business could rely on, which is forward-facing estimates. You want to know what your costs are going to be if you're gonna do business. And let's remember, Visa, MasterCard, the plasticization of money that was from the 80s and the 90s onwards, the credit card movement did embed this 2 to 3% surcharge upon all of society. It's one of my big gripes with credit cards and one of my most bullish sentiments around crypto. So obviously merchants get to save fees here and they get to understand the cost of transactions that they're getting in bed with. Now, also there's built-in privacy measures, which is to protect your users by keeping important details private. And of course, this is on an EVM chain. So as ZK technology improves, that will all be interoperable and implementable. Now, they talk about the use cases, and the use cases are pretty clear for all things stablecoins, but they're doing a great job at laying this out explicitly and in such an easy to digest way, right? We have remittances. We're talking about entire businesses that are just being upended by these chains. We have global payments. And for anyone who sent a wire recently, it's like, why the hell am I paying $25 to a bank? I could wire from a different bank to my own bank and get a $25 fee. No longer the case. Embedded finance. So do you actually want to build banking features into your website, into your merchant side, into accounts payable? And this could be, hey, look, I want a smart contract that takes 10% of my profits every year and loops them into Aave for lending out and accruing APY. I could automate things like strategy under Michael Saylor and say, hey, smart contract, I want you to take 10% of my profits every year and buy Bitcoin with it. So we are looking at this whole new concept, which is embedded finance, and that's something that can only be unlocked with programmatic money. Really cool. Now, microtransactions, holy moly, are we going to see this really unlock the creator economy? Let's remember, we're not looking at just meat space merchants and vendors. There's also cyberspace, and that could have great use for unlocking microtransactions like collectibles, like real-time engagement, like streaming paychecks, no longer getting your payments once every 2 weeks, but actually streaming it out block by block. Now, agentic commerce, and this is really where the world begins to change, which is AI agents. And again, blockchain money is software money, is good for software-based souls, AI. Now, tokenized deposits move customer funds on chain for instant settlement, efficient interbank transfers. Sure. And, as part of this embedded finance, you might be able to accept payments in the form of like locked LP positions. We don't really know how this expands and how these protocols all interoperate. And again, this comes back to my thesis of the end of money as we know it and the beginning of value. You create value in the world that is important to you, in the communities that are relevant, and that value is now interoperable. It can be spent out in the world for real item purchases. Now, the technical features, there's something that's in line with a lot of what we've seen from Plasma, from Circle, from USDT, but fee flexibility, pay transaction fees in any stablecoin. And this is kind of interesting. Plasma is built on USDT. Tempo will be using a built-in AMM, an automated market maker like Curve Finance, to basically have rebalancing and trading and swaps between any stablecoin. So whether it be USDC, USDT, the new PSI-USD from PayPal and beyond, we are likely going to see stablecoins coming out of each and every business because just like owning your supply chain in traditional business, this is the supply side of the money sets in this digital finance. Now, dedicated payment lanes, this just really means that the block space is available for payments, keeping it cheap and consistent. Stablecoin interoperability, I already talked about it, but batch transfers, we can do omnibus, we can do crazy stuff with this programmatic money. Now, block lists and allow list, this is for compliance standards, and we actually just saw today that World Liberty Finance has frozen Justin Sun's account, citing that they believe he's dumping their price on the exchanges, but that is something to look out for. You can take the money from black market actors and use it for your own devices and then freeze their accounts once you've kind of gained what you need from them. All very interesting. Memo fields speed up reconciliation with transactions by adding context that's compatible with ISO 222 standards. Anyway, that is stuff for compliance and a little bit more boring. Now, Tempo is an EVM compatible L1 blockchain. That means while it is compatible with Ethereum, it is not built on Ethereum. It doesn't displace other general purpose blockchains. Rather, it incorporates design choices that meet the needs of high volume payment use cases. Now, I've already seen Solana bulls taking the lap saying, well, this is the death knell for Ethereum L2s. But what they're kind of saying here too is that they don't need to use a public blockchain like Solana. They're going to have their own, and it's going to be composable, and it's going to be for payments. So if you think payments are the core of this technology, which is really what Bitcoin was, a peer-to-peer electronic money system, then hell, these stablecoins are evolving in a fascinating way that rivals the foundational use case of Bitcoin. Bitcoin being the only thing that has now ascended to moneyness, and maybe, just maybe, all of these gas asset chains and these programmatic monies, I mean, they might be obsolete versus a payments chain. It's all fascinating. I know that's a very big statement, and it's something I got to develop a bigger thesis around, but shaking in the boots if you're holding these other things. Now, who can build on Tempo? It's neutral, it's permissionless, yada, yada, yada. That means if you want to go ahead and build an application, it is there for you. You can tap into the chain. You can access the free market rails of Tempo at your whim. As I've said before, this form of finance is unlocking it from this cloistered banker cabal to being like, hey, if you're 12 years old, you learn how to code, especially with vibe coding and AI, and you want to build a project for your 8th grade science fair, well, who knows? You might end up building the next great financial primitive of the future. I don't know, but the possibility is there, and that's what makes this all exciting. Now, when will it launch? We're providing select partners, and they're sort of announcing it, but the partner list is no fucking joke. And who will run validator nodes? A diverse group of independent entities, including some of Tempo's design partners, will run validator nodes initially before we transition to a permissionless model. So this does mean that they want to decentralize the validator set. That is where you get anti-fragility. Now, the question is, if you're paying gas in stablecoins that have freeze functions like USDC, USDT, PSI-USD, I mean, they all basically do, then it is kind of weird. Like, how do we look at this as true decentralization if the gas asset itself can be frozen? But I think the reality is going to be that these stablecoin issuers do not want to freeze assets. It's a last resort, and it will only be regarding exploits, hacks, things of that nature. We've already seen USDC kind of step back and try to avoid asset freezer in the past. Now, we just got to look at this partner list really quickly because I did gloss over it. And holy moly, Tempo was started by Stripe and Paradigm, obviously, with design input. And remember, the design input partners may be validator partners as well, from Anthropic, Coupang, Deutsche Bank, DoorDash, Lead Bank, Mercury, Nubank, OpenAI, Revolut, Shopify, Standard Chartered, Visa, and more. I mean, hot damn, not only do they have the point of sale endpoints, but look at these banking partners. And like Visa is very wise to get in on this because this does upend their entire business model. So they either need to pivot and pivot aggressively and quickly. And I do think getting in bed with some of the leading technology providers is the right choice. But what we can see here is just the floodgates opening between Plasma, between Circle and Coinbase and everything they're doing with Tempo. I mean, we are seeing everything that banks facilitate moving into the digital sphere. When I talk to people and they go, Graham, I don't get crypto, I just say, hey, it's the internetization of money. We're just making money digital. The same way you use the internet, you will use money or value. And it's so screamingly obvious right now that it's coming for everything that the banks do. Obviously, the banks are going to launch competitive products like Tempo, like Plasma, but let's be real, the competition is there. Crypto has been waiting for this moment, and we've had our eye on the puck well into previous games, let alone what's happening right now. Now, when we go to Stripe's website, they have a whole thing set up aimed at merchant-side vendors. Grow your business globally with crypto. Now, one thing that has traditionally been true is that when you talk to major products like video games, like collectibles, like clothing, anybody, and you say, hey, look, I've got this great solution for you. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm listening. Let's talk. Crypto. It is generally a hard no. They say that is the one thing that could destroy us. The user base hates this. Nobody wants to deal with crypto. However, Stripe is coming at this with a very different marketing campaign, which is just, let's show you the savings. This is going to be huge for your business. So obviously everything they talked about, but we can now see that if you embed this into your merchant account, not only are you going to be able to just take money from anywhere in the world, as we see these various currencies just transacting directly into USDC, with the payment methods being crypto, card, or Klarna. Now, Klarna might be dangerous for society, again, buy now, pay later, but crypto is kind of the opposite. So we do have this push and pull of opportunities. And look, Phantom Wallet is going to be embedded right into this. X, I mean, we might be able to log in with our X account and pay directly from there. X has previously stated that they want to have blockchain rails as well. Coinbase, Shopify, I mean, wow, the partnership is nuts. Now, reach untapped buyers, right? Grow your total addressable market by offering crypto and stablecoins. Obvious and clear what you can do there. Move money instantly. No more weekends, no more banking hours, none of that crap. It's just the internet, for fuck's sake. Provide financial services globally. So if you want to issue cards, if you want to manage your treasury, and this is a crazy concept. So issuing cards, pretty straightforward, right? You want rewards points, just make them digital. You don't need to deal with this whole cacophony of physical cards that are sold at Walmart and whatever. Just put them into your apps. Now, manage your treasury. That is fucking nuts. And that is because these businesses, their treasury is really just cash in a bank right now. But this turns everything upside down. As they start accepting more of these stablecoin payments, they will already have this capital in wallet. And it's kind of annoying to move it off wallet. You have to do OTC deals. You have to go through Coinbase. Like, why would you do it when the future of finance is clearly on chain? And when in a few clicks, you could say, hey, can I put my treasury into things like USD or Origin or just straight into an Aave or a Morpho, right? There's so many ways that this latent money can be utilized to generate yield. And we're moving away from this everybody has a job kind of world to a place where financial management is not only more accessible, but it will be more automated. So this is going to be a massive boon to anybody that's running a business. Now, launch with ease. This is also a very nice feature, right? It's easy to set up. You don't have to put in too much work. So they're talking about the building blocks for borderless finance. And at the end of the day, what we are looking at, I mean, this is the Stripe stack, right? right? They acquired Privy, the wallet company. They acquired Bridge so they can go cross-chain. Now they have Stripe, and they're going to put this on top, and it's all going to merge into one seamless thing. We won't use the word blockchain. We won't use the word crypto. I don't know. Maybe it'll stick around because crypto is actually kind of a fun word, but this will just be money at the end of the day, and people will get used to it. And remember, the kids are growing up on this. Nobody is going to look at that old banking system and say, yes, I'm going to go in and deal with it. That is a point I will just make over and over again. Now, power your marketplace, fintech, or enterprise. One of the interesting things to me, these are all becoming the same thing. There's going to be just less separation. You're just dealing with digital money. Every business becomes a treasury that they need to manage. Everybody can accept capital from anywhere. Borders no longer matter. And well, we're going to have to really see what this does for Forex. And again, and I've pounded this pavement many years during Biden against Elizabeth Warren, which is just look at the power of the US dollar. If all of these things get converted into USDC at the end of the day, or USDT, this is the new petrodollar. That forced oil trade to be traded through the dollar. We're now talking about global merchant access trading through the dollar. So don't ever listen to any of that bullshit that Elizabeth Warren's putting out, because what they are trying to do is push us against the future of finance. And I know that the Trump family is making a lot of money off of it, and it seems really grifty, but honestly, they got ahead of the curve because they also got debanked like the cryptocurrency industry. And all of that anti-thought is what led to this moment that we're in right now. So there is a bit of irony involved in all of this. But look, take your marketplace global, on-ramp your users to exchange. I mean, look, a lot of people in crypto, they're trading their assets. They're making money through a variety of times. I recently bought the Solana phone because I was airdropped Solana meme coins. And it was like, hell, I got these coins for free. The phone is for free. Let me try this thing out. Maybe I get more airdrops. These kind of flywheel effects are things that can happen into your business as well. So the biggest message here is probably the benefits of crypto with the stability of fiat. And this is something that is just going to sweep the world as we move forward. Receive, store, and send funds globally. I mean, this is all what crypto was meant to be. So all of this stuff is coming together from Stripe, from Tempo, with one of the killer teams coming behind it through Matt Huang. Obviously, there's a massive race between Tempo and Plasma. And I mean, I guess you got to throw Tron in there because Plasma's primary agenda is to take down Tron. But Tron recently had to reduce fees by 60% in order to stay competitive. So it's unclear that they're going to hold up that lead. Now, look, this is all nuts, and there's so much competition coming out, and it's clearly a better financial system for a mobile-first world. Not to mention, we're moving into LLMs, to natural user interfaces, to AR, to voice, right? Unlike with my Chase account, I will be able to spend money by prompting the AI agent to say, hey, look, go into my Aave account, and when my yield reaches $20, go and purchase that shirt from H&M. This is a very real future that's happening that will all be automated, and one day I will come home and that shirt will be there from money that has self-accrued. We can also use this to repay loans, to say, hey, look, I took out a loan. I want that to auto-repay from my compound interest. So we are moving into a whole new paradigm of money. Now, last but not least, coming out of the gate, we also have this crazy fucking announcement, which is Fireblocks launches payments network for stablecoins. And Fireblocks, you might ask, who are they? They are the institutional custodian for cryptocurrencies. Period. Every fund I've been involved with, every foundation, everybody that accrues a lot of crypto assets and needs to make sure they are secure, custodies with Fireblocks. So in the way that Stripe has the merchant access, Fireblocks is basically the core banking analog, the opposite end of that spectrum, but the connectivity to major capital providers, to custody, which is a huge, huge thing. People do not want to lose their money, and that is a big part of the trust mechanics. So we can see that the veil is only just coming off and that the game is beginning. We are in the initial phases of the great transfer of wealth from the physical world to the digital. How gold holds up in all of this, hard to say. It's killing it right now. But if we can see Bitcoin as an analog to gold and this mass adoption of cryptocurrency, then hell, Bitcoin is looking like you got really fucking lucky if you acquired any of it. Anyway, hold on to that shit. Never let it go. Love it dearly, because this is happening. This is happening fast. And holy shit, stables are coming on chain. It's a truly exciting time. And remember that just because these issuers can't give you yield doesn't mean that the protocols can't. So that's a really fun thing to keep in mind as you take in some stable coins for selling your wares and maybe want to 10x your treasury through some smart investments. That being said, the price is going down now. It's been going up recently, but it shows that volatility reigns supreme. until we likely get these Fed cuts in September. So stay safe, don't overlever, and I will see you tomorrow.